Well, in honor of National Women's Health Week, a nationwide call is underway to empower women with knowledge to take control of their health and encourage each other along the way. Here to tell us about the Silver Lining Companion Guide is best-selling author of The Silver Lining, a supportive and insightful guide to breast cancer, Hollye Jacobs. Hollye, good morning.
Good morning, Heather. Thanks so much for having me today.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Now, Hollye, tell us, why is it so important that women get empowered and get in control of their own health through knowledge?
Well, it's one of the greatest gifts that we can give to ourselves, because when we become empowered and informed, we truly become better patients. And becoming a better patient will enable each and every one of us to be in the healthcare system in a way that is much more effective and hopeful and absolutely has better outcomes. And that's why it's so important to be informed and empowered.
Well, absolutely, and one way to do that is with this companion guide. Will you tell us more about that and why it is so valuable to cancer patients, survivors, as well as their family and friends?
Absolutely. So the companion guide is a condensed version of my original book, The Silver Lining, a supportive and insightful guide to breast cancer, that I wrote after my experience with breast cancer. I had been looking for a book that was simultaneously informative and hopeful, honest and supportive, and that book really didn't exist. And so I wrote it along with my very dear friend and photographer, Elizabeth Messina. And after the book came out, it became incredibly important to me that the content get to not only those folks who could afford to buy the book, but to everyone who is impacted by the disease. And so the partnership with Allstate is so exciting, because Allstate, which doesn't do health insurance, by the way, but Allstate is all about empowering and supporting the health and well-being of women, and also meeting people in their most difficult of circumstances. And they acknowledge the importance of this project, and the partnership came to be, and we created this companion guide specifically for it. And the companion guide is, like I said, a condensed version of the original book that has the practical tips, the lifelines, and the information to help every single person impacted by the disease get through each and every stage of the process, from the time of a diagnosis through treatment, recovery, and into life after cancer.
Well, Hollye, you touched on it briefly, but will you talk a little bit more about your personal battle with breast cancer and why you've become such a tireless advocate for breast cancer awareness as well as women's health?
Absolutely. So I was a 39-year-old, happy, healthy, vegan eating, marathon running young mother when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And in an instant, my world was literally shattered, as I know it is for everyone who hears those words. You have breast cancer. And it was really interesting for me, because I am a nurse and a social worker, and I found myself moving from the side of the bed as a healthcare professional, then into the bed as a patient. And I learned things as a patient that I never could have learned doing my medical education or practice. And so it became incredibly important to provide people with the information to become empowered, so that they can become the best possible patient they can be, so that people can have a seat at the table and help develop their own plan of care. And this is so incredibly important, and this is my passion, is that everybody and women become their own best advocate.
Well, Hollye, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us this morning. Before we let you go, can you quickly tell us where viewers can go to get the Silver Lining Companion Guide?
Absolutely. So the guide is available in both English as well as now in Spanish. If viewers go to allstate.com/Silver Lining. The books will be available for electronic download, and the list of Allstate agencies around the country where people can pick up hard copies is also available. allstate.com/Silver Lining.
Hollye, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Heather. It's great to be with you.
Now stay where you are. The Morning Blend will be right back.